At Madison Square Garden, Michigan State, Ohio State, Purdue, and Michigan are among the teams vying for the title, but it all starts tonight on the Big Ten Network when Illinois takes on Iowa. And joining us now to break it all down is Big Ten Network analyst Stephen Bardos. Stephen, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for coming on.
You guys are based in Chicago, but is it nice to be here in New York for all the big action?
Everything's better in New York.
Wow, that's what we think.
I mean, it's in the Garden. Come on now. Anybody that has any kind of basketball knowledge, you got to love the Garden.
And they did a lot to make sure it could be in the Garden this year, and we'll talk about what they did to the schedule and what it could mean for the NCAA tournament. I want to start with this. Right now, your gut. If I told you could have Michigan State or the Field, who you want? Not who you want, but who would your pick be to win it?
That's a great question. I'd say the Field.
Okay.
You know, even though Michigan State's won 12 in a row, when you get to this point of the season, every team is so scouted so well that you try to take away your first and second options. And if you can do that, you get to that third and fourth option. Now you get Michigan State in a little bit of a, you know, put them in not the best case scenario, but they're still playing very
If I were to tell you Michigan State, I've got a time machine, they didn't win the Big Ten tournament, who do you think would have won it?
The team that's playing the best right now, in my opinion, is Michigan. Okay. This is John Beilein's best defensive team. Typically, when you think of Beilein teams, you think of Pittsnogle and big guys stepping away from the, West Virginia. And he's got another one in Mo Wagner that does very similar things. But Michigan, defensively, they are great. And they've got a lot of depth at the wing position. And so they could give a team like Michigan State a lot of issues.
Now, what individual players should people really be watching for to see something special?
I like Jaren Jackson Jr. I mean, this guy here, you know, a projected lottery pick. He does a lot of good things well. His dad, Jaren Jackson Sr., was a tough dude, played against him. But Jaren is a very cerebral player. He doesn't get a lot of credit for that. At 6'11", one of the best shot blockers in the country, can score the ball, is aggressive when he needs to be, and, you know, he's outstanding talent.
I know you mentioned Michigan is a team you really like right now. Of the teams in the Big Ten, you see any of them going pretty deep into the tournament? Is there one that you really think has what it takes?
I think Purdue can make a Final Four run, actually. Old school team. They've got a post in Isaac Haas, who we say is a soggy biscuit away from 300 pounds. But, you know, he is a talented, big, very, very skilled around the basket with either hand. And what this young man who's dunking right there, Carson Edwards, probably is the hottest player down the stretch in the Big Ten. And so you've got great storylines, but I think Purdue could make a deep run as well.
And Purdue's the only team in the country that has not lost a game by more than 5 points.
Yes.
So even in their losses, they have played exceptionally close games. They don't get, I mean, I feel like when we nationally talk about the Big Ten, it's Michigan State and everybody else because of the pedigree, the coach, and I think, is it fair to... Are the two best players in the conference, both on Michigan State, in Miles and Jaren Jackson?
They're right up there. But Keita Bates-Diop, the Big Ten MVP, has had a heck of a year at Ohio State. And but Michigan State definitely has a talent. Nick Ward, Jaren Jackson Jr., Miles Bridges, Cassius Winston's playing out of his mind, the sophomore point guard. He's probably the X factor for Michigan State making a deep run in the tournament. Very good from three-point land and has a great change of pace. Will remind you of Pearl Washington.
Syracuse.
You said a lot.
Yes.
You said a lot with that.
I'm serious. This dude has a change of pace that's old school.
Okay.
He's got an old school feel about him. And if he's playing well, they're tough to beat.
All right, so typically the Big Ten championship game is going on like as Selection Sunday's under. And there's always a question, wait, but could the winner of this game change a 1 seed?
Sure.
Now the opposite's happening.
Yep.
They're going to play this championship game this weekend, and they're going to have an extra week off than you typically would have going into the NCAA tournament. Like, how much do you think that will affect these teams' chances in the NCAA tournament? Could it help them? Could it hurt? Like, how do you think the schedule change is going to affect them this year?
I think the schedule change really hurt the regular season because there was a lot of back-to-backs. There was some short turnarounds. I believe Illinois closed the season with 4 games in 8 days. Oof. So that's a brutal stretch. But now everybody's calling Mark Few and Gonzaga.
Oh, because they're used to it.
They're used to it. They got to the championship game. And so everybody's calling Mark Few right now, trying to figure out, hey, what are we doing in this downtime? And I think that it's actually going to help the Big Ten teams because they'll be rested. You know, you got everybody's nicked up at this time of year. No pun intended.
No.
But, you know, so they get some time off. They'll figure it out, and I don't think it'll be bad at all.
Stephen, if you know me or if you've watched the show at all, I am the fan of the underdog, of the dark horse. If you have no shot to win, there's a good chance I am rooting for you.
Okay, all right.
Okay? Someone has to have that
I
role.
got you.
Give me a dark horse in the Big Ten right now.
Dark horse right now. Everybody knows about Nebraska, but watch out for Indiana. Indiana is playing very, very well. Juwan Morgan, in my opinion, if Ohio State doesn't have the season that they have, he's up for Big Ten MVP. Had a heck of a year. Archie Miller has done a fantastic job. Watch Indiana this weekend.
At the end of the day, how many Big Ten teams you think get in the tournament, and who needs to really have a strong showing in the Big Ten tournament to make the dance?
Nebraska needs to have a great showing. If they can get to the championship game, Chris, I believe they could get in. And I say right now we have 4 solid. If Nebraska can make that run, it will be 5. And I don't know that Penn State can do enough, barring they win the whole thing. Their big man, Mike Watkins, is a little banged up. I don't know if he's 100%, but Nebraska.
Nebraska's in an odd spot. They almost would have rather been the 5 seed because you could have gotten an extra win. Since they're the 4 seed, they get the double bye.
Yep.
So their first game's probably going to be against Michigan, which is they'll probably be an underdog in that game. If they're the 5 seed and they get either Illinois or Iowa in that first round, that adds a win to their resume. It's a weird thing where getting up to that 4 line might have hurt their NCAA chances.
Yeah, but here's the thing now. Nebraska needs tier 1 wins.
Okay.
So Michigan would be one of those wins, like Iowa, Illinois.
Doesn't help you.
It doesn't really help. So I think that they're poised. But that Michigan team, I'm telling you, they are playing as well as anybody in the tournament. So that would be a fantastic matchup.
Stephen, have fun here in New York. Enjoy our little city.
Yes.
Always do.
Have a great time. Thank you
Thanks
so much for coming in.
Great seeing you, Chris.
You too.
You can check out Stephen and all the Big Ten Network coverage starting today at 5 Eastern. More First Things First right after this. Thanks a lot.
Oh, no,
Can't believe the Big Ten tournament's already here.